Hey guys, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and over the years I've covered mostly MMOs, a freaking ton of MMOs. It's got to be close to like 170, something like that. But not all of them were great, not all of them were super fun. And some of them, I just wasn't in the mood for. So this is going to be a list of the MMO that I rage quit for one reason or another at some point or another, most likely at the very beginning. I'm saying like I'm picky. There's even games where I've liked, and I've just refunded them day one instantaneously. Basically, like I gotta love a game, especially in a genre that takes so much time, effort, blood, and tears. I'm just not gonna deal with it. Okay, if the character creator sucks, or if tons of microtransactions, or what have you, you guys are gonna find out during this list video. I'm out. I'm gonna rage quit. You're gonna see a lot of games that you never heard of, and some that maybe you love. But let's fight about it in the comments below. So, top 10 MMO that I've rage quit. Okay, so the first game that we're gonna be talking about, tragic enough, is MapleStory. So MapleStory, I was getting into it incredibly late, but basically I was working for this channel called Free MMO Station, and they're like, hey, cover this game, we're getting this paid promotion, it's gonna be great. So I was like, oh yeah, no, let's make some money, sure, I'll try this old game, even though I generally don't. I'll try it, if I'm gonna get paid for it. But at the same time, as I was doing research into it, I realized how popular it was. I knew a bunch of people who played it before, and I knew there was some charm, and I saw the mechanics that it could be grindy, there's tons of classes, and that, it was an action combat platformer game. So I was like, oh wait, no, this is actually a really unique MMO. So I had every bias getting into the game to really enjoy it, I thought. But then I get into the game, and the art style is a little off, but that's okay. I played Dragon Nest, I played a few other titles that had strange art styles. You can kind of learn to love it. Okay, but the thing that made me rage quit the fastest, okay, here on MapleStory, I played for just a little bit. I was like 15 minutes in and I was like, I can't, my eyeballs. It's basically just the user experience and the UI. It was so clunky. It was so awkward clicking around, maneuvering, and just reading everything. Like the UI is just really freaking old school. And this happens a lot in especially older Japanese games. Their UIs are just gross, and especially in their online games. I hate them. I hate them so much. And MapleStory 2 kind of did away with that, and obviously a lot of newer games, like we just know better UX. But MapleStory, in the modern day, it's hard. Now I don't know about MapleStory Mobile. Let me know if that's actually good to go. But OG MapleStory, I genuinely cannot even. And I'm sorry, because it actually does look like a cool game. Okay, number 9 is a title that you probably don't know about, even though I wish it worked out, and I think it was hyped whenever it was conceived, but it's a game called Otherland, and if I'm not mistaken, this was based off of a popular book series. It seemed like a lot of people were talking about it, but there's a book series, and it basically involves, like, there's multiple cyber worlds or whatever, and you're jumping from them, so this is kind of like Isekai, the MMO, before that was all hype and everything. You jump into multiple different kind of worlds. There's lots of different kind of classes, a variety of themes. Obviously, each of these worlds have a variety of weird themes, but it's all interconnected by being kind of like cyber / VR / Tronish. Anyways, it, like, in every way, it was just bad. Now, obviously, I played it early access, but then I also played it when it launched, and it has mostly negative reviews. Like, this is probably one of the few MMO on here that's just, it's so bad. It wasn't like any one thing, like, MapleStory's UI or whatever. It was just genuinely, you could tell that these people had no idea what they were doing, and they were trying to make the biggest, most grandest concept ever. It's like when people were like, don't make your first game an MMO. It felt like that. It felt like baby's first MMO, except they had a bunch of assets for something way bigger than them. So basically, it was just the most depressing thing on the planet. I don't know. It actually had some promise, maybe, if they didn't try to make it an MMO, if they just tried to make a cute little game, maybe if they didn't try to base it off a book series or something like that, maybe if anybody else was trying to make this game, I don't know, but basically, just genuinely, it was just so bad. If you see any videos on it, and obviously you can clearly see the reviews on Steam, it's just, in every way possible, completely incohesive. That's maybe the one thing I could say. All the different worlds and themes, all the gameplay mechanic, or the lack of gameplay mechanics, but still, like, the variety they had in there, everything just didn't fit together. They just pick and chose and things were thrown together, and I guess to an extent that's kind of part of the theme of the, the story, the world, but it just felt bad. That's pretty much it. It just felt bad. Maybe we can applaud the fact that they tried to do something different, other than just a very generic and linear, progressive European fantasy MMO. but it did not go over well. And so, yeah, after my 15 minutes of fame for the game, that was it. Done, uninstalled, bye. Next, we have The Crew 2. The Crew 2 really upset me for a couple of reasons, and I rage quit it after I was doing a stream with it, and I was actually genuinely very excited for it. The Crew was a game that I missed, so I didn't really know the full extent of the online features or how well the racing was until number 2 came out, and I was like, okay, I'm really interested in a racing game. I just bought a bunch of other racing games like Dirt, Rally, stuff like that. Sure. And I don't know. I wanted to play with a bunch of people. I wanted to race online. I love actually Grand Theft Auto racing and playing Grand Theft Auto, so I thought it was going to be kind of like that. But they implemented these features where it's like you could be a plane, you could be a boat, and all of it just felt bad. And all the different areas, from the open-ish areas to the city, all of it was just poorly designed. It didn't have any of the charm that I saw in Grand Theft Auto, and it just really felt very generic. The real racing mechanics, like the driving and stuff like that, just felt garbage. And I'm somebody who I've played a few racing games from different genres, from Mario Kart, Crash Bandicoot, stuff like that. And I actually have played one with mixed vehicles, such as Sonic. That was actually really fun. A lot more fun than I thought it'd be. Burnout series is, I think, my favorite, and obviously Dirt, but The Crew 2 just felt pretty bad. Now, I think a lot of people just have fun with it, and it's okay, but the one thing that really separates it for me and made me rage quit proper was, okay, it wasn't a great racing game. I could play any other racing game, but it's an MMO racing game. Is it, though? Is it really an MMO racing game? I think in some aspects, Grand Theft Auto felt more MMO, more alive, and more times you'll have events where there's more people all together and just it's havoc and craziness. The Crew 2 felt very lonely. It felt very non-MMO, and I would debate it's probably not even an MMO, it's probably an MMO light, since I don't think you can have more than like 16 people in a lobby. So basically, it just felt like false advertising entirely, and it wasn't to the quality in any respect for why I would want to play The Crew 2. It just didn't reach, that $60 value for me, or even if it was free to play, or maybe I might check it out then. But anyways. Okay, moving through the list, we've got another no-name. This one is weird. Maybe you actually have heard of this, but this one's going to be kind of a tie with every game that's like this. So this particular game is called Monkey King Online, the one that I'm going to highlight. And I'm highlighting it because maybe you heard about this, because for some reason when I did my video on this for Attack Gaming, it got a lot of views, but I'm assuming that's because Chinese view-botted it. And you're going to see that a lot for games like this. They have false Facebook advertising, and a lot of mobile games are doing this now. They learned from games like this. They'll say stuff and things like literally like it's an MMO. They'll say that, it's an action RPG, things like that, but it's autoplay, and I'm pretty sure all the players are bots, which actually happens a lot in IO games, in Battle Royale games, and now even in your freaking Mario Kart games, Mario Kart Mobile, that's got fake players in it. So one of these kind of games really pioneered that shit. Also, actually, you can see like the 2D art looks really cool, and I feel like a game that could look like this, like it could actually be fun. I would play like this 2D, pixely, I don't know, this type of art style in an action RPG. I would play the shit out of that, like a modern Diablo 2, something like that. Yeah. Even with the mythology of Monkey King Online, like the whole Journey to the West, whatever. I don't know. It could be fun. There's a lot of games out there that are just like this, and that's the problem. They are asset flips. They are just the same. They are all pay to win. They are all autoplay. They are all garbage. And so, yeah, but this Monkey King Online was the first one where I was like, okay, I am never covering a game like this ever fucking again. And that was it. So Monkey King Online, bye! And then since then, I just haven't even touched a game like it. Yeah, okay, so the next game, Perpetrator Tomb, I forget what that means, but Perpetrator Tomb was a game I didn't rage quit instantly, even though I wanted to, and that's just because I sometimes there's certain genres where you're not comfortable with it, so like 4Xs. The first time you play a 4X, you're gonna have a bad time. You're probably gonna have a bad time. You don't understand how it works, and you have to give it, some time. MOBAs, maybe some RTSs. So Perpetrator Tomb is kind of a strategy game. It's not a game where you just build a robot and you go and you just duke it out and smash faces, shoot them or brawler. No. Perpetrator Tomb is EVE Online, but set on the surface of a planet, and it's a bunch of different robots. Okay, that's what it is. And I know it's supposed to be more political based, and I know it's supposed to be economy based, and it's supposed to be slow, and to an extent kind of a spreadsheet simulator. But the thing is like, I'm pretty sure it's worse than EVE Online in every single way, and it's just really, really slow. It's so slow. Nothing appeals to me, and I cannot see the appeal to almost anybody. You would have to be a hardcore guildie that is too afraid to play the more popular games with the, you know, bigger, stronger guilds. So you're trying to kind of carve out a niche in some other random MMO. I don't think so, dudes. Perpetrator Tomb was, frankly, it was the slowest MMO that I've ever played. It was the most devoid of color and life and charm that I've ever played. So I think I went like 30 minutes actual gameplay after hours of research, because I figured that's the kind of game that it was. And no, after 30 minutes of actually playing, I had no idea what was going on, and no, I'm boring myself to death even trying to talk about it, because there's not much to talk about. It's just a watered down EVE Online that you should just pass on. Perpetrator Tomb. That's it. Okay, so halfway on the list here, we've got a game that I was genuinely excited for. I'm put it in a bunch of list videos. It's called Magus, or Magus. Magus. Okay. And basically, it was like Pokemon Go. There was kind of this viral, concept. When Ingress came out, a bunch of games were trying to kind of follow that trend, but then Pokemon Go obviously just stole the show. But Magus was coming out, and basically it was kind of like this magic Pokemon Go. You weren't capturing monsters, but you were fighting them. So you had to go and find them. You could actually see them on the map and chase them down. There was like loot boxes you can go find out in the world. Not like, gambling loot boxes, but I guess whatever. And that's it. You just level up, and you actually had to draw the spells, by the way. So it was kind of like turn-based combat, but it was very rapid. So you had a very limited amount of time to accurately draw the runes and cast the spells. The problem is you had to grind up to get new spells, and it took a tremendous amount of time to grind up. There was also a very limited selection of different creatures, unless you bought the expansions, which even in early access, they had like 4, 5, 6 expansions that you could purchase. So they basically just gutted the game so that you would have to buy the game. Also, what made me rage quit, this is silly, but for an online game, there were no raids or anything like there was actually no online interaction other than the PvP, which was 1v1. So very false advertising, or they just never implemented those features as an MMO. And the PvP was just completely fucking broken. So the game was soft pay to win because you needed the expansions to grind up to get the new spells, which, yeah, actually, when you're trying to grind and play against the monsters, the thing is that in Pokemon Go, the monsters exist at a specific point, and people can help each other out. Like, oh, hey, there's a Pikachu over that way. Or, you guys can all, get together. You can fight gyms, or you have the raids now. But in Magus, it's actually all tied to your location. So when you turn on the app, it spawns the loot boxes around you, and it spawns the monsters, and they will run from you, which was kind of a cool thing at first, but they will really fucking run from you. So if everything is based on just me, this is really just a single-player RPG. So it was falsely advertised, and it wasn't that good. But I think a game like this could be amazing, even if it was a single-player RPG, where you actually have to move around the world, or even run away, like if something's chasing you, like a Minotaur, get out of there, it's gonna put something where you don't want it. Yeah, that would be fun. But anyways, Magus was just a cool concept. But as soon as you play it, you're like, oh, okay. Peace out. Yeah, number 4 on my list is Rift. And right here, I could also put, sadly, I know you guys are going to crucify me for this, but Lord of the Rings Online. I'm also going to put Runes of Magic and a few other games. And it's for the reason that I quit Rift. So Rift had some cool ideas that I actually know were kind of stolen from, itself in other games like, the Oblivion Gates, yeah, from Elder Scrolls Online. Very, very similar to the Rifts. But anyways, yeah, no, there were some cool ideas of Rift. And, being WoW-like, that was kind of interesting too, actually. But dudes, when I got into the game, obviously I was very biased because I heard that it was pay to win. I didn't like that it wasn't totally free to play, blah, blah, blah. I was already just like, nah, whatever. I had no incentive. Nobody asked me to do a video. I just wanted to try it for funsies. But the instant I got in, the one thing that makes me incredibly biased is character creator. It's character creator, dudes. And if I can't make a character that looks anything at all decent in any way, I'm going to rage quit. And these are the games that did that, especially in Rift. And basically it comes down to, if I feel like the proportions are silly, Now, yeah, you could say that you could do that in a lot of games. You know, like WildStar, you could do that. Any game that has sliders, Elder Scrolls Online, you can make some really ugly characters. Sure, Monster Factory it up. Black Desert Online especially, you can make like really grotesque characters, but I think more often than not, you can make good-looking characters, even by accident, in those kind of games. But in games like Rift or especially Runes of Magic, it seems like more often than not, you're having goofy characters, and everyone walking around and running around, they look goofy. Everything just looks really off. It looks like, you know, everyone's first day of clay in you know, art class, and everyone's making really bad potato sandals or whatever. Like, everyone just is just garbage at sculpting, because we are. We just want to play a game, we want to play an MMO. Not all of us are sculptors or artists or 3D modelers, and you know, giving us awkward tools that are either unuser-friendly or just generally like you give, you know, you make it, we can make too big heads, dude. We got too big heads. Okay, that's a bit, I don't want bobbleheads. Unless it's April Fool's Day with Guild Wars 2, that was kind of fun. But big head mode, not cool in my daily play. So yeah, that's why I rage quit Rift in the character creator. Sorry. Number 3 is Life is Futile. Life is Futile, I rage quit because I was pretty biased going into it, thinking, you know, I played Mortal Online, and I played a few other survival games, especially early access, and Life is Futile was one of them, like the survival, you know, MMO. But it was European medieval. There's been a couple that have tried it. At the time, I also played Gloria Victis, which was also equally poopy. So as soon as I get into the game and I see it's laggy, you know, I'm phasing into trees. It takes me a minute to kill a chicken because it's so horrible. You know, the hit detection's awful. The graphics look disgusting. It's glitching out on me. My computer is like burning up. It's winding up so loud. Just pretty much everything that could go wrong, and at the same time, everything that is so usual as possible, you know, is happening. It's just like, okay, punch trees, basically. You know, the usual stuff, which isn't a problem. It's just, God, the menus were so bad. Just everything about this game just was reeking to me like, okay, I know what I'm going to expect with this game. This is going to be a life stealer, and this is going to be a game for hardcore players who really want to play with a guild specifically. This is a guild game. This is a game for no-lifers, and I'm sorry, but I have a life. There's so many cool games to play out in the world. I just don't want to waste my time. And so that's basically it. Life is Futile was just, at the time, a really shitty, like, survival MMO. Now, I think since then, people have had fun with the game and have made it something cool, but at the same time, those are very specific players still, and I believe it doesn't have great reviews right now. So, I don't know how it's turned out in the end, but God, I hate when games are uncomfortable. I honestly love when games just get, you know, just start us out and get us running so that we can play the real game. But when the real game is completely hidden by a tremendous amount of grind and awkwardness and horrible UI, and, you know, when the game just looks unpolished and it's scratching my eyeballs, which often, honestly, MMOs do, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna play this game. Number 2 was Game of War. Game of War, you guys might have seen the commercials with the big-chested woman. That got me interested in it as well. I think I was watching Phil DeFranco. He talked about the Game of War commercial because, like, big titties, and I was like, okay, let's play this. It's an MMORTS. Okay, I tried out a few of those, but I you know, I wasn't quite jaded yet. But this was a game that broke the camel's back, and basically, this could be any game. There's tons of these. I think one's called like Stormfall or something like that. There's actually one of like every theme, every name. If it's elves, if it's cyberpunk, what have you. The only game in this genre, which by the way, this genre doesn't exist. MMORTS basically doesn't exist. But basically the game that's like city builders, that's actually a good game, that's like a real game, is Clash of Clans, and even that has its own problems. Every other game that I have played is, I think Domination is a Clash of Clans clone, that's actually okay, but every other game is fake. I think the only MMORTS that's actually real is one called Screeps, and that's a programming game. So, Game of War basically is just like all these others. Right now, a popular one is the Final Fantasy XIV city builder. All of these are not real MMOs in my opinion. They're not real-time actual interaction with a massive player base. It's just, you build up a base, it's all pay to win, you know, you have all these different currencies, whatever, you know, it takes 3 days to build this town hall, unless you spend $10. It's all bullshit. They all look copy and paste. They probably are. They're asset flips. I know for a fact they are asset flips because there's companies that, and I reviewed all of them, I checked them out, and they're all the same. They just make those same games. It's the same exact UI placement, size, UX, everything, but they changed the themes. So one is going to be modern military, one is going to be Sparta, the next one is going to be fantasy, elves and stuff like that. One's going to be maybe kind of Warhammery, maybe one's Soulsian, I don't know. But they're all the same exact game, and they're all bullshit. And yet, it really feeds, like, you don't know how bullshit it is. You don't know. I mean, as an ignorant gamer, especially. When I first saw these games, I was really excited because, yeah, I want to play a game like this. I do. I would love if a real MMO RTS actually existed, you know, where clans and guilds can actually wage war and it's like genuinely good and fun, and it's not pay to win. But every single one is. So Game of War, that was one I rage quit. I was like, I am done. The titties ain't keeping me for this one. And finally, the MMO that I rage quit, which I feel is the most tragic, is RuneScape 3. Or I guess this is what old school RuneScape used to be, and then it evolved into. So basically, 2007 was a great year, fantastic year. RuneScape, old school RuneScape, was just really blowing up. It was hitting a stride. I was playing the free-to-play with my best friend, my brother from childhood, and God, man, the memories, the times that I had, my first online experience and everything like that, it was great. Old school RuneScape, fantastic, and I still have it on my phone, and I would still champion it to this day for being debatably the best MMO in probably the most categories that you could, especially questing. I love the questing in RuneScape. But RuneScape 3, when I came back into it, I remember I was doing a video for Free MMO Station. They're like, hey, check it out again. It's got this big update. They changed the leveling and everything. But I know there was a lot of controversy with the combat and microtransactions, stuff like that. And I'm here to tell you that, yeah, basically they gutted the charm, and then especially the leveling change. I think it's cool that they want to show off that there's like some new kind of boss mechanics. And I heard that the end game and the bossing mechanics of RuneScape 3 is genuinely good. And, you know, the graphics do look better. I do like the graphics. I think it is cleaner and the UI is interesting, but really, they just kind of gutted a lot of the charm of old school RuneScape. Tutorial Island, as arcaded as it is, kind of makes sense, actually. Like, the whole point of old school RuneScape is that it was incredibly self-aware that it was a video game and that it's cheesy, and you play it like this sort of dioramic, like, comic book, fantasy, questing simulator thing. I don't know, but it was really fun. RuneScape 3 seemed to start taking itself a little bit more seriously, and it just, you know, lost its charm. But really, the slap in the face and what made me rage quit, on top of everything else, was the microtransactions. Constantly being bombarded with these things, just constantly getting punched in the gut by this, completely turned me off. And it is something that I hate in mobile games. It is something that will make me rage quit tons and tons of games. I will literally install a game, and then the opening menu, if I'm bombarded with bullshit, I'm out. And in fact, that's why I often don't come back to MMOs, because you come back and they add these, you know, these features, and I'm not gonna fucking deal with it. So RuneScape 3, that's what happened. I came in, did my little tutorial thing, and I started playing the real game. So about 15 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I had to quit. I was like, oh my God, fuck this. No, I'm not gonna pervert the memories, the charm, you know, the love and character that the old school RuneScape has. I'm just gonna peace out, and I'll stick to old school RuneScape. So guys, that's it for the MMO that I have rage quit, or at least the top 10 that I want to talk about. I've rage quit many, many more, and I try to actually lump those categories with certain games. But yeah, I would love to know which games that you actually rage quit for whatever reason. Maybe actually it's because of bias. Maybe it's because you didn't know better. You know, like some people rage quit Guild Wars 2 because like, oh man, it's really easy. That's tragic, because the game's actually butthole hard at some points. Not as hard as it used to be, but you know, maybe we can actually help you out, get you over those speed bumps so that you can get into the games. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to tell me, oh, you should really check out RuneScape 3. It's actually good again. I doubt people are going to tell me that, you know, Game of War is good, but maybe somewhere there, you could definitely try to convince us, try to get us over those speed bumps so that we can enjoy and have fun. But at the same time, you know what? Guys, MMOs, they do take a lot of effort. Don't waste your time. You can do so many other things, play so many other games, and share so many experiences with your friends. Don't drag them through that as well. So, yeah, guys, rage quitting, I think it's fine. It's a viable strategy. Just go out there and do your best. But I do implore that sometimes, if someone's really trying to convince you, you know, in the comments below, hey, you should really try this game, and this is why, and this is how you get over those speed bumps, then definitely give them a listen. Anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. Much love, and I hope you guys did have fun. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.